After owning my Tesla for 2 weeks, I can truly say that it's an amazing car and provides a drive experience like no other, which makes it only fitting that that drive experience like no other comes with a purchase experience like no other in the car industry. The purchase process is much more similar to ordering something off Amazon than it is to going to a standard dealership. And to many consumers, this can be both an exciting and confusing prospect. I consider myself a pretty tech-savvy individual who did a ton of research prior to making our order, and even I found myself stuck or confused on various aspects of the purchase process. Between trim choices, understanding tax incentives, and preparing before, during, and after your purchase, there's a lot of lessons learned that I had before I hit that order button. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Max, and this week I wanted to talk about my 10 things to consider before you buy a Tesla. Side note that while our experience was around our Tesla Model 3, many of these considerations are applicable no matter what model you buy. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 1, know your trim. So when it comes down to it, understanding your needs and your wants and your budget constraints really fits into the trim category that you end up choosing. Each trim comes with its own pros and cons, and you'll want to fully understand that before you buy. We went with the long range Model 3 because for us, having dual motors, the all-wheel drive capability, the additional distance, and the possible acceleration add-on, all while keeping within a certain price range, was what drove us to that decision. The standard range we ruled out due mostly to the fact that we wanted to have an all-wheel drive vehicle given the variable weather in our area. It also didn't have the premium audio system, which for me personally, that was very important. However, for you, if price is king, that may be your choice. You may also be drawn to the standard range's new lithium-ion battery, which can regularly be charged to 100%, which makes its daily distance comparable to more of the higher end models since you can take it up to 100% on a regular basis. For the performance, well, we were actually really close to splurging on that one given the current discounts. Although the physical differences are pretty minimal, I like the spoiler and the pedal additions as well as the accented brake pads. And of course, I loved the additional speed and acceleration. We test drove a performance and the thing was amazing to drive. However, at the end of the day, we decided against this particular model because of 2 factors. In our state, the ceiling for the tax incentives is actually lower than the federal one. So we had to take that into consideration because this model in most trims exceeded or got dangerously close to crossing that threshold. Losing out on an additional $3,000 benefit from taxes was not something I was interested in risking. The second issue that I had were the tires. So the only option for a performance model is the summer performance tires, which are fantastic to drive on until your temps drop below 40 degrees. Then you're essentially driving on glass. With the amount of money we were already investing on our EV purchase, there was no way I could justify the cost and hassle of owning a second set of tires to take on and off seasonally. But anyways, just make sure that you understand your purchase, your trim, and what you're getting yourself into, and make that decision accordingly. Number 2, there is no Tesla dealership, at least in the traditional sense of one. Tesla considers their locations to be showrooms. They don't sell inventory on lot, they do not negotiate pricing, the salespeople don't take commission on their sales, none of the stuff that you'd be used to if you're used to going to a typical car dealership. When we finished test driving our car, the rep we were working with essentially pulled up the same Tesla page we all see at home and showed us how we could order the car ourselves. So that's really it. So don't expect your average dealership process or negotiations, and don't expect to drive home off the lot with a car that you actually test drove that day. Whether you're at the showroom or at home, your order experience at the end of the day is going to be the same. Which brings us to number 3, the Tesla app ordering experience. Once you place your order on the website, you'll be prompted to manage your order within the Tesla app itself. Here, you'll be given a checklist of items to complete before you take delivery. Things like establishing a registration info, financing, trade-ins, insurance. You even make your final bank transfer payments directly into the app. The only thing that wasn't handled in the app personally for us was our loan payment since we went through someone other than Tesla for our loan. Side note on that, we actually did have to have a check overnighted to do that because Tesla expected us to hand deliver that check with a purchase. So yeah, that was different. Just be ready to do your entire process through the app versus working with an in-person rep like you would during a normal vehicle purchase. Number 4, Tesla's customer service. Or should I say lack thereof. The people that we dealt with in person or when I got in contact with someone over the phone or through chat were great. They were very personable, easy to work with, and had great knowledge bases, but the keyword with that is when. More often than not, I couldn't get a hold of anyone live or over the phone or chat before, during, and after my vehicle purchase. Even the delivery specialist that I was assigned via text that I was supposed to work with after I'd placed my order to establish the delivery, to go through any questions, was unresponsive for huge stretches of time. And from the different chats and the people I talked to, there were times where I actually received conflicting information about aspects of the vehicle I was looking to purchase and questions that I needed answered, which forced me to seek out information elsewhere. The worst of this was when I kept getting prompted to schedule our delivery to pick up our car, but the app kept saying there were no appointments available. I tried calling and contacting people multiple times to get this sorted out. I talked to 3 individuals on the phone trying to get it sorted out and sat on hold for multiple hours. And it took 3 separate live agents in 2 chats just to figure out how to get that issue resolved. I'm not a high maintenance person when it comes to things like customer service, but given the fact that I just dropped tens of thousands of dollars on a company's product, I would expect just a little bit more engagement. But yeah, at the end of the day, do not expect them to roll out the red carpet for you. Number 5, understand your tax situation. Right now in the US, the federal tax incentive for those under a certain income level is $7,500, which is huge when it comes to the affordability of these vehicles. The thing is, Tesla does not do the best job of explaining how you qualify for it. To begin with, you need to have an adjusted gross income of less than $300K as a couple or $150K as an individual to qualify. Further, the MSRP of the car needs to be below that $55K threshold. That is MSRP before any software updates, but more importantly, before current discounts. Therefore, there are some cars that you can buy at a discounted price today that fall below the $55K threshold, but exceed it when you actually consider their MSRP value, which would then disqualify you from that credit. Aside to all this, if any of the information that I just stated is not true, I reference you back to my poor customer service comment because this information came directly from the service rep that I was working with when I was making my purchase. Beyond that, each state has its own tax situation that you need to consider. In Maryland, where I live, we get an additional $3,000 back in tax incentives if the purchase price before upgrades is below $50,000, which is a lower bar than the federal, so you have to take that into account. Further, in Maryland, we have a fund that you apply to and receive upfront before you actually file your taxes, so it's something that you need to be aware of and do proactively through the purchase process. And as a fund, the amount is actually finite, aka once the money allotted for that program is gone, it's gone for good unless another program gets put into law. These are all just things that you're going to want to consider and understand as a buyer before you pull the trigger so you know how much you will end up spending at the end of the day when you purchase your car. Number 6, what it's like buying from inventory. As I've stated in multiple videos, we bought our Model 3 from the inventory list on Tesla's site versus building our own model. And while that gets you the best discount, it also comes with less flexibility than you would have if you built the car yourself when ordering. Firstly, the delivery location and timing is set. When we were looking, there was actually a blue Model 3 long range with white seats that was cheaper than our gray one, even though it had the more premium blue paint. We would have 100% purchased this car instead of our own was it not for the fact that it was at the maximum distance from our house, 3 hours away. We were not willing to drive that far, and Tesla was also not willing to move that vehicle closer to us so that it was a more manageable pickup. The location was set. Further, we were told that when we ordered our vehicle, that the delivery window would also be set. And if something was ready to go after our order, they would not guarantee holding that inventory beyond a certain point. That would not only risk the model that we had ended up choosing, but also our $250 deposit, which is not something we wanted to do. Finally, as I've said before, when you order from inventory, you have to expect a much quicker delivery window. Our Tesla app was prompting us to schedule our delivery the day after we placed the order, and we picked up the car 2 days after that. This means that you need to be able to close out on actions to firm up that delivery relatively quickly compared to if you built your own model to order. Which leads me to my next item. Number 7. Prepare as much as you can before your order. Like I said, we essentially had 2 days to finalize our order before we picked up our car. Granted, it was displaying a week window for our delivery schedule, but obviously we were excited to get the car, so we wanted to pick it up as soon as possible and not just have it sitting on a lot somewhere. Which is why you should do everything you can to have as much prepared or queued up before you actually hit that order button, once you are sure about making the decision, of course. Before we ordered our car, we got pre-approved for a loan, gotten a quote from our insurance company, gotten an offer on the car that we were selling to buy this one, moved money from the appropriate accounts so that we could officially make the bank transfer, created an Amazon cart with all of our day one accessories, and gotten quotes from electrical companies to install our charger. Even with all this, we were scrambling between order and delivery to get the check from our financier, to get our insurance finalized, to order our accessories and receive those accessories, to actually sell the car and get the check for that and move that into our account. It was a lot to do. And we still don't have all of our accessories to this day, nor do we have our outlet installed for our charger. That's actually happening tomorrow. Because the process is so non-standard and it's all done in the app or by yourself to sort things out, you are much more on your own with actions than you would be when buying a typical car and getting ready to receive that vehicle. Do as much as you can before you hit the order button to at least make sure that it's as stress-free as possible upon delivery day. Number 8, watch YouTube content. Well, if you're watching this video, you're already doing this one. But I have to say that YouTube was the single most important source of information for the purchase of our Tesla. There are thousands of videos from great creators, and by consuming information through that medium, my wife and I learned way more about what we were getting into than through any other means. It was so influential in our decision that it led to me creating this channel so that I could add my knowledge to the pool of information that's out there and share it with all of you. I'll link 2 of the channels we found most helpful in our purchase in the description below, so feel free to check those out for even more information on your purchase. But yeah, definitely continue watching YouTube videos before, during, and after your purchase process to learn more about what you're getting into. Number 9, be at peace with your purchase. With Tesla, the price, the product features, those things are all going to change frequently and without warning. Literally the day after our purchase, Tesla announced the Model 3 refresh, and they reduced the price of full self-driving by $3,000. Thankfully, we did not buy that, but still, things change all the time. And even when major announcements are not occurring, Tesla is always making small updates to the manufacturing process, to software, changing discounts all the time, so you need to be prepared for that eventuality. We even saw inventory prices and discounts change right after we ordered our car. The point here being is that when you decide to buy this car, make sure that you're comfortable with the price that you are paying and the features that you're getting at that time. Do not get hung up on the future opportunities that you might be foregoing, as inevitably there's going to be improvements or cost changes in the future. If you think what you're getting at the time of your purchase is what you want and worth the money, then at the end of the day, that is all that should matter to you. The 10th and final tip that I have for you today is to use a referral code. And no, I'm not just saying this because I want you to use mine. No matter whose you're using, this is going to give you $500 off and free full self-driving for 3 months. Teslas are pretty bare bones when it comes to included accessories, so that $500 goes a long way when it comes to getting some starter accessories that you're going to absolutely want and need to take the right step forward with getting your Tesla experience started. Further, getting FSD for 3 months for free gives you a real taste of the feature and will help you decide if it's worth it. This could save you from jumping headfirst into dropping $12,000 on a feature that you ultimately don't even like using. So yeah, regardless of where you get it from, please use a referral code. If you do need a referral code, as always, I've linked mine below, so feel free to use that to either purchase your vehicle. Please remember that you can also use it to schedule a demo drive. That's what I had for my 10 lessons learned or things to consider before you buy a Tesla. Please let me know your thoughts or if you think I missed anything in the comments section. And as always, if you like this video and you want to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe to see more. Thanks for watching, and until next time,